Johnny Fontana, Half Amazing TV, back with another video. Boy, am I glad to be back. Happy Sunday. We're trying to do this thing maybe once a week, right? On Sundays. So at least, you've had the week where you've gone through your troubles. Now Sunday, you just got something that you can enjoy, refresh your minds, right? Get some new ideas, right? For the week so that you can at least practice for the week and come into the weekend fresh with some new ideas and be able to execute, right? So now, as you look here, I have the Traktor Kontrol S3. So some of you probably wondering, okay, well, what'd you do with your rotaries? Did you sell them? Can I have them? No, you can't have them. I decided to go with the controller just because I need something a little bit more convenient, right? I want to be able to start playing multiple decks, right? Apart from the two decks, and I want to start increasing my technical attributes, right? And sort of improving on the basics and also the extensive programming that I have by introducing more layers, right? And so by doing that, I would have to have 3, 4 decks. So I was thinking about, okay, let me get another Pioneer deck, but I'm like, is it as convenient? Because when I have to practice, I'm going to be able to practice, in the comfort of where I am, not only just here in the booth, right? Because sometimes I just may have these ideas and I'm like, hey, let's go. And I may be on vacation and I want to be able to have something as well. And specifically for the Traktor, because I use Traktor, that's it. I don't use any other gear. And I'm not a fan of playing what I don't practice, right? So I practice on Traktor. I use USBs as well, but
Well, you have no fear of so when the GM is walking through the crowd, right, and he hears you play one song from left field, gets pissed off, puts me in a group text with 19 other guys that are running the show. Who booked this guy? Da 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 da. You have no fear of that anymore, do you?
I mean, where I'm at in my career now, I don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
I might not play in a lot of places nowadays because of that. It's very possible. But people that hire me know what they hire me for. Like, you getting Camilo, it's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I'm a hip hop DJ, but that's not all we do. And yeah, do I have a Latin following? This is what we're giving them.
You gotta play for the crowd. You can't play for the club at the end of the day.
Right.
I'm not going to be in a position where I'm going to compromise my sound. I'm not going to compromise my style. You're not going to see me often playing with 3, 4, 5 people, right? I want to be able to play where I can utilize my tools. That's what makes me who I am. So I'm going to play my 4 or 5 hour sets. I'm not going to play these 1, 2 hour sets with other DJs just because I don't have to, right? That's not me. I want to be able to perform, and I want the audience to experience me, not 3, 4, 5 DJs, right? Clip number 1, go.
Artists need to understand they need to map out their audience. And too many artists are down to, I'll go on tour with 7 artists and we'll sell out 5,000 people. It's like, yeah, that all looks great and good and dandy and everything, but how many tickets are you good for? How many tickets are you good for?
Right.
Y'all never know because you're always a 4-piece thing. Like, I always made it a point to myself. Like I said earlier, I'm trying to prove myself right. I want to do Staples by myself so that I know if I do 2,000 tickets, then that's what I'm good for.
Right.
But if I do sell out Staples, when I sell out
let me tell you
Staples,
something.
put it like this: if and when I sell out Staples, and it's me, Snoop, Ty, who it is, it wasn't because of them.
Right.
So I think it's very important that we understand that. So anyway, that said, I like it. It's a bit of a toy. It's different. I don't like the fact how you have 4 decks on just one component, because there's a lot of buttons that you have to switch, and it causes for more mistakes. or it allows for more mistakes rather. But it has the 4 decks, it has the functions, and it's smooth. The sound is okay, different to my Pioneer. It's not as warm, it's not as full, but it is what it is, right? So, we're gonna get into this tutorial. We are going to complement an Anthem track, right? So I have this track. It's Lale by Butch, and it came out about a year ago, so it's not too new. So which means that it's something that you can actually work with, right? You can complement, you can work around it. So usually when you have let's say a track that you want to complement, right? You normally want to lead into an anthem, okay? You always want to complement your anthems, meaning that your anthem is something that is the most desirable by the audience, right? They're looking forward to that track, which means that you have to provide it an entrance, right? You can't just like bring it about all of a sudden, oh, there's that track. Sometimes that works, but more often than not, especially when it comes to electronic music, unlike hip hop where you can just drop beats, electronic music, you want to be able to provide some kind of a setup, right? So you want to set that track up, usually 3 to 4 or 5 tracks, right? Depending on how the night's going. But minimally, you want to set it up with 1 track, right? So you have a track that you set it up, like what you call a lead track, and then you complement it with a tail track, right? So that tail track is also going to be not so much of as much of an anthem, but an anthem in its own right. So you want to be able to pair them and have it so that everything transitions well. Now, keep in mind, these are routines, right? So they are B sets. B set is a set within a set. So you have to practice them in advance, right? Again, you're not going to practice all your transitions for every freaking mix or practice. You know, you're not going to have a pre-set transition list unless you're beginning. I'm okay with that. But usually, if you're playing throughout the night, you have your little routines, your little B sets that you can fit in, because you know these tracks go well together, and then you know you can play it here, and then you know if you're playing somewhere else, you can then use those B sets to play along with the sound that you're playing. So I think it's very important. So I think that's about it, right? So if I need to cover anything else, I'll introduce it during the tutorial, but let's just get right into it. All right, so again, this is my lead-in track, right? I'm going to use this in order to set up my anthem, and I'm going to complement my anthem with another track. Now, this is a scenario by where I'm coming off, let's say, a peak hour, and I'm dipping down a little bit. Or maybe if I'm in a peak hour, but I'm giving people a break, so I'm dipping down a little bit, getting into a little bit of a more like a groovy, melodic tech sound, right? And then I may go into something else as a transition, and then from there just keep it going as I will. Now, keep in mind that with this track as the lead, it's just going to set up my complementary track. That's all they're designed to do. I can use this track on its own and not have any complementary tracks. I can take this set, again, this mini set, this B set, it was practiced before, okay? So I already know what I'm going to do. I'm showing you that you can then, use these 2 or these 3 tracks and use them in your own sets. But what I'm saying to you is that you can use that track on its own, or if you're in a vibe, you're in a place where it's really vibing, you'd be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna take this track, and I already know that I have an anthem and a tail track that I can pair with this one. And as you play on and then you get to know your music, you have your little different beat sets that you can play, and you can introduce new sounds, new songs. And then as you just practice and you're like, oh, this goes with that, this goes with this, and then creativity really just starts to bubble. So we're gonna get into the so I gotta set this one up. All right, for instructional purposes, I'm gonna move it over. Bring it in nice and slowly. Watch how I use my EQs. On the next major transition, I'm going to bring the right. So they're at 9 o'clock. Start bringing this one down. What am I doing? I'm letting people get used to it. Don't bring it out. Loop that, keep that going. Now I gotta start getting this one out because I'm going to have to bring the third track in during the breakdown. You're forcing it right now. You're forcing it. You're masking it with the EQs. Masking it with the EQs. Mask it with the volume. You don't want it to be full on. Patience. You want to keep it so that it's not so abrupt. Have a little bit of background, ever so slightly start removing it with the music. And that's how you do it, baby. So what I did there was, again, it was practice, right? I practiced it, but because again, it's like you have to be honest with yourself, right? You cannot do this all freaking night long, right? It's just too much work. And if you can try to memorize this stuff, it's just too much, right? And you're gonna have a paper and pad, or it's just too much going on, right? And it takes away the element from the actual mix, because instead of now you're allowing things to go smoothly, you have everything pre-planned and all your transitions pre-planned, and it just sucks, right? So you have these, and you have different ones, right, that you've used before. This one's a little bit more complicated. My other ones that I have are basically just in the mix, drop down, and guess what? I forget a lot of these because I don't write them down. I don't remember them. So once I do it once, and if I'm playing, I say I'll take that track. But then, for example, if I haven't played a song in like a few, I'll forget whatever complementary track that I use with that, or whatever tail end track, because I don't have that much of a memory where I can remember, oh, I remember 2 years ago I was using this track and I was playing it with this, and I don't do that, right? Unless you write it down and then you can go and practice it again. But again, with that, it's just all about engaging, understanding your timing and your phrasing, right? And what I want to start doing now is just providing these mixes so that I'd be like, hey, listen, I came up with an idea. Here are the names of these tracks. Go and try it out. Do it on your own. Do it in your mixes, right? Like, so I don't have to like hold these mixes And for me, like, I think it's just something that I should be able to share and be like, yo, go try it out, right? Like it's like a routine that, you know, you see. I say when it comes to breaking, when it comes to dancing, you see a routine. You try it out, and then from there you can mix it, add effects, and make it your own, right? So it doesn't sound like it's just like mine. But guess what? You know where you heard it first, right here. Half Amazing TV. Johnny Fontana, we out.